So this is Fallout. It is a board game based on the video game series, specifically based on Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. It kind of covers the whole scope of what Fallout is. So it tries to cover the questing aspect. There's a lot of fighting. There is, so purchasing from the stores, building up your survivor to better take on the wasteland. You start over here, you start exploring these green tiles, and then as you go, you're going to get further into these red tiles to progress the main quest all the way down to this lower corner of the map. And these are scarier places. This is my favorite part of this game, your player board here, your survivor board. So you'll see it says the word special, and those are all of your traits. So you have strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck. So throughout the game you will be able to obtain these different skills, and those will enable you to interact differently with different elements of the game. You'll come into a quest or you'll come into an area and it will say if you have intelligence you can hack this terminal more easily. It will also help you interact with weapons differently. There are certain weapons and companions. If you have certain skills allow you to be more effective with that weapon. For example, you have intelligence, agility, and luck, you are better with this plasma gun. But the way that you're going to get those is throughout the game you're going to level up, you're going to gain experience points, and so whenever you gain an experience point, you just move your experience marker all the way up to your next special that is filled in. So the more that you get, the more skills you have, the longer it takes you to level up. So it really has sort of that video game experience feel where every level of experience requires more experience points. But then once you do level up, you'll take 2 of the tokens, flip them over, and then you can pick. If I had 2 different ones besides something I already had, I could just pick one of them and slot them in. But here I have the opportunity to take charisma and just put it in, or I can double up on my intelligence and take a perk. And these are super powerful one-time abilities, and the bottom of each card tells you which skills it specifically aligns with. So with intelligence, for example, I can take Swift Learner, which allows me to level up a little bit faster, or Gun Nut, which I can discard at a settlement to gain any weapon I want from the shop, even if they're way out of my price range. Other things on your survivor board, you have your radiation and your health or your hit points. And as you take attacks from creatures and stuff, your hit points will go down. As you gain radiation, your radiation will go up. Whenever those meet, you die, and you respawn at the starting tile. So very much like Doom, which was our other Bethesda game, you kind of get that video game experience of being able to take some risks and then respawn and try something new. Once your radiation gets all the way up to 16, you are out of the game entirely, but I've never ever seen that happen. One of the other cool parts about this game is the 159 card library, and each of these cards has choices on it, so it's sort of like a choose your own adventure card library instead of a book. So you start and you sort of read the flavor text and then you read off the options. But if Matt had picked this card, I would read the white text to him, and he wouldn't know what was the blue text, so that you would make that choice without knowing the consequence. So those cards all come out of the settlement and wasteland decks, which as you explore the map, you'll uncover new settlements and wasteland locations, as well as vaults that you'll be able to go into and encounter, and that's when I'll pull one of these cards. Some of those cards say exactly the same text in the part that I would reveal to you, but the outcome is different. So even if you play a few times in a row, you're never going to know which outcome you're going to get, which keeps those cards from getting too stale. The story will sort of continue in the same direction, but the more generic wasteland encounters will be altered depending on which card we draw. Your influence card is kind of your victory points, basically, and you can get more of these as you play. So at the beginning, these will all be secret, no one knows. You and I have faction-related influence, which, as we play through the main quest, these faction markers will move up the track. So if this one is way up here, you are going to be in a very good spot because you are with the Freedom Group, which is, in this scenario, the Railroad. Whereas I've allied myself with the Institute, who's clearly not doing as well. Dane, he has his own personal goal to run around the map and explore. And so there's a bunch of different ones in there. There are some where you want to get as many of the skills fulfilled as you can. There are some where it pays to be well rested and have drugs in your inventory. Some where it pays to have a bunch of companions. So it kind of keeps, each person has the main quests to focus on, the exploration quests and side quests, as well as their own personal influence goals, which will ultimately get you to a point value, which will hopefully win you the game. If two people do, so say you and I both had the freedom and this moved us both into a point value that would get us to win, we would win simultaneously. So you can make this cooperative. So like it,
or I
said,
can hunt you down with my plasma gun.
You cannot kill me. But you can kill my buddies, and it'll make me real sad. But yeah, so like it said, you can reveal that, and once you do that, I know what you're doing, and I can try to stop you, but you can also move freely among the tokens that represent that faction.
Okay, sure.
So then the railroad is not going to attack
so
you.
she won't attack me if I ran into her.
Yes, and those will be little star tokens, and they'll show up all over the place. Certain quest things will be like, the railroad's trying to track you down, pop up a bunch of railroad people all over the map. There's questing, there's factions, there's fighting. You fight with VATS dice, which are awesome. And sort of try to hit vulnerable spots on the various enemies, depending on which part of their body is the least protected. Let's follow.
Neat.
Cool.